Morning, everyone. Uh, I'm fighting some really bad allergies right now, so my eyes are watery and my nose is runny. So if I have to excuse myself for a minute to wipe my nose or wipe the tears from my eyes, uh, please be understanding. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about the differences and things. We're going to get into uh, regular magic ring versus a double magic ring, when to use a magic ring and when not to use a magic ring. This is some very helpful information to you whenever you're first starting out, and it will save you a lot of anxiety, stress, and frustration. Anyway, I don't think I told you, but I'm totally self-taught. Between uh, YouTube and asking questions, I figured out a lot of this on my own. But YouTube is a really good tool for learning different things. My husband does CNC work. He's a machinist. So he learned a lot. We bought a CNC router, so he learned a lot to do's and don'ts on his router. I learned a lot of do's and don'ts on crocheting. And I dabble in many things. I've made hot glue sword for my granddaughter. It's pretty cool. And staffs. My son makes life-size staffs. I make doll staffs. But my son actually makes the life-size staffs. They're pretty freaking awesome. He uses animal skeletons in a lot of them. He made a Reaper's sigh using jawbone of a mule, I believe it was. But we're just a crafty family, and we do a lot of different things. My husband does. He's a machinist by trade, works with metal. So there's a lot of different things that we do. We have a CNC router, CNC laser, and then my yarn work. I got yarn everywhere. But anyway, back to the subject. I wanted to explain to you the differences between the magic ring and the double magic ring, when to use a magic ring and when not to use a magic ring. Let's get started. Get a hook. I mean, if you want to try it yourself, you just get a hook. With my eyes are watered again. It doesn't really matter what size, because we're not actually making anything. But on the regular magic ring, you're just going to wrap that yarn around your finger. Then you're going to cross over it at some point and make an X. Yeah, there's an X there. Let me pull them apart a little bit so you see it. See the X? You're going to go and pull through like so. Once you pull it through, you're going to twist it and then chain one. Now you have your ring. See it? Now we're just going to do 6 single crochets into that magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got your 6 magic rings on that loop. This regular magic ring, you're just gonna pull this yarn tail tight. Once you do that, you're just gonna slip stitch back into that first single crochet or chain one. Slip stitch or crochet, single crochet, whichever you want to do. Chain one, and we're gonna fasten it off here. Now, there's still a little hole there, but just pull that yarn tail a little tighter and it will cinch up. Now most people tell you, oh well, when you crochet in this yarn tail to keep it snug from coming apart. Well, you should always do that anyway, but no matter what magic ring you're using. But it tends to work its way back out, and then it loosens up and that hole comes back open. You can stick something in there and just pull, or you'll see what I'm talking about. It'll work its way back open. See? And the only way to close it again is pull on that string again. Well, if that string is weaved in, you can't do that, can you? So, you say, I do not like the regular magic ring. I'm guessing somewhere it has its purposes, but for what I do, it's worthless. To me, anyway. Excuse me again. Alright. Now we got the double magic ring. Double magic ring is almost identical. The only difference is you're going to wrap around your fingers twice before you make the X. So you're going to go 1, 2. Then you're going to cross over with the third. Grab that yarn, pull it through, turn it. Grab your yarn, chain 1. Then we're going to do the 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, looking at it, you would think it's just a regular magic ring. Well, it's not. On this one, when you go to close your ring, you're going to pull this yarn tail slightly. Now, that yarn that started closing, it'll be shorter than the other one now. Let me see it. See, one here and one here. Well, this is the one that started pulling shut. That one is the one you want to pull on. So grab it and pull it snug. Close that ring up. And then after you've done that, pull the yarn tail. And now it's closed. Single crochet into that first ring. Fasten off. Now, that is your finished double magic ring. This is your finished magic ring. They're virtually identical in appearance, but this one does not pull back open. I don't know if it would open up. It might open a little if you stuck something in there, but not like the other, see? So, this is my preferred method when I'm doing origami because it's just more secure. And you can still crochet in the yarn tail, which even secures it even more. Eventually it'll work its way out, but with this one, it doesn't matter if it works its way out because it's not coming back open. It's in there. But that's the two differences. Now, this is the only one I use, is the double magic ring. I don't even bother with the magic ring. To me, it's a lost cause, and there's no need to use a magic ring when you can use the double magic ring and your item be more secure. So, this is what I prefer. And I wish someone had told me this when I first started, that there's a double magic ring, and the double magic ring is better to use. But now it's on the internet, and people can see it. But this is magic ring versus double magic ring, and that's just what I prefer. Now, moving on, there's a yarn called Chanel Belle. I had bought a pattern that called for it, and it said use a double magic ring. Well, there's a problem with that. The Chanel Belle is very delicate yarn, and you cannot do a magic ring with it. And it was very annoying. I got so frustrated. But I'm fixing to show you why it's so delicate. And you don't want to use this yarn for children's toys. Matter of fact, for children's toys, if it's a toddler, someone that doesn't necessarily take care of their toys, I prefer to use cotton. It's more sturdy. But blanket yarn, you can use that too. I've used all of them, but for toddlers, I always use the cotton. It's more durable, it's more sturdy, and it's just take a licking and keep on the ticking yarn. But here is the Chanel yarn, and the issues with this yarn, and I wish I had knew this beforehand, because I got really, really frustrated with this yarn. This yarn, it is wonderful yarn. It is extremely soft. It's just a lovely yarn. But here's the issue I have with it. Watch this. It just pulls right apart. And when you're working with it, if you do it too tight, it'll separate. So you want to do kind of loose when using this. And I'm a tight crocheter, so that made big issues for me. But this is how you will start this yarn. I mean, this yarn is great for adult stuff, but you want to just crochet one, or get your loop on your hook, then crochet two, chain two, whatever, chain two, one, maybe. I keep my hook on there, one, two. Now you're just going to go back into that first one, and you're going to do your 6 single crochets, kind of loosely, because if you pull them tight, the yarn will separate. There's 6 single crochets, and then we will, well, you should always count on this yarn because it's hard to tell exactly where the starting crochet was. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's hard to see the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there we go. And single crochet, chain one, and fasten off. Pull through, and that is how you start with the Chanel bell, Chanel, whatever they say, however you say it. But see there, and it's so fluffy that it pretty much seals that hoe up. Might be able to cinch it up a little bit, but probably not. But it's just got a little minute hole, and that's because I used really loose crochets. If you do it just a little tighter, it'll seal it up. But that is what you want to do. Now this yarn is not good for ripping, so don't get too far ahead of yourself. If you make a mistake, kind of keep an eye on it, because it does not rip well, because it will separate and those strings get taut and stuck together, and it's just not a very friendly yarn to use. But it is a lovely yarn. It is extremely soft and delicate. But like I said, this yarn is not made to be used with children's toys, unless they're going to be on a shelf where they're not playing with them. This is a soft, cuddly yarn, even good for a blanket, but it is not very sturdy. It's not very durable. So origami, only if it's not a child toy. But that is how you do it. You cannot actually do this yarn with a magic ring and it be okay. It will separate. And I'll show you what I mean. You pull too tight and little pieces come out like so. See the split in it? It's just real delicate. When you go to rip these yarns, the string here, if you pull, because you're pulling on it, it's going to separate and it's going to get stuck to the other strings. It's just really temperamental yarn, and it's really not good for kids' toys. It's an adult type for origami, I mean, blankets, it would be good. But definitely not something that's going to be played with. And blanket yarn is even thicker and it's more sturdy. Regular blanket yarn, Barnett yarn. Here's a roll of the Barnett yarn. And it is more coarse. It is not as soft. It is more like a terry cloth. But you can't use a magic ring in it either because it doesn't slide well across its own. So with this yarn, you probably want to chain, make a loop, chain 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Blue. We don't need no help, buddy. Lay down. And then crochet back into that first chain. Yeah, see, it does not pull well either. We got crocheted to the first chain, and then you just go back into that hole in the center and start working your single crochets. This yarn is going to be difficult. This yarn is very stiff. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. This yarn is so bulky. I am not a fan of using blanket yarn for toys. Just so you know. Single crochet into that first stitch. Fasten off. But might have made these too tight. I'm a very tight crocheter. But there we go. I like doing it. There you go. It probably should have went a little longer, maybe 5 chains and then hooked it. But I'm not big on. I don't use a lot of blanket yarn for my dolls. So usually when I use this, it's back and forth. But that is what you should do for the blanket yarn, not a magic ring. But you can chain more chains, as many as you want. If you're going to be using more than 6 single crochets, I would definitely go bigger. But these are the kind of tips and tricks that I wanted to make known, because I have not seen anyone on here talking about the differences. Sorry, I've got extremely bad allergies. I'm allergic to everything it seems like. But that knowledge needs to be handed out to struggling crocheters, I feel. You know, it would have been just so much easier if someone would come out and told me all this stuff. But those are the different ways to start your origami. My preferred method is the double magic rape, and then with the difficult yarns, I'll use the chain 2 technique and then back into the first one. And the bulkier yarns, I have to use the chain technique and then join the two ends and work in the center of the chain. But just spreading some knowledge, and you can check it out for yourself and see what I'm saying, see which way best is best for you. But there you go. The 4 different ways to start your origami. Right there. They all look the same, but every one of them are a different technique. And then remember, just because somebody doesn't do it the same way as you doesn't make them wrong. So many people get hung up on, well, I don't do it that way. Because you don't do it that way doesn't mean it can't be done that way. And you should always listen to what people have to say and make up your own mind, which is easier for you to do. Don't just go off and get all frustrated and tell them they're wrong. They're wrong because you don't know. Is it really wrong? Or is it just not the way that you prefer to do it? Anyway, there's many different ways to do many different things. And some people have a hard time with OCD. I don't know why, but they just get vicious sometimes. So if you see someone being vicious in my comments, just ignore them, because I will. To each their own. That your opinion does not overrule anyone else's opinion. And all that matters in the end is what is easier for you to do, not what is easier for someone else to do. Anyway, I hope this helped you. It's been almost 30 minutes already. And I will try to come back soon with some more helpful tips for you. Y'all have a nice day.